You'll get there.
I wanted to talk about the Masters. So you have two Masters titles, 2012 and 2014. 2014, you won, a little bit easier. You won by a few strokes. 2012, your first one, you won in a playoff. That has to be the most intense pressure cooker situation to trying to break through for your first major victory and you go to a playoff. Like, were you going crazy internally? Were you kind of losing it like, holy shit, this will change my life? Or were you able to stay even keel and do the thing?
So I birdied before we got in the playoff, let's start it back. I birdied I bogeyed 12. I was just off the green. I counted as a 3-putt, even though it wasn't a 3-putt statistically. But then I birdied 13, 14, 15, 16. So now I'm tied for the lead. And I remember talking to Ted Scott. We were walking to my caddy, and we were walking to the 17th. We come around the bunker and walk up to 17T. And I said, oh, my gosh, we're tied for the lead. He goes, yeah. I said, we have a chance to win the Masters. And he goes, yeah. He goes, hit me a good tee shot. I sliced it so far to the left. I was like, oh, my gosh. And then when I'm walking to the ball, I'm thinking about it in my head is that we got a chance. Just calm down. I don't think he had the best of shots either. I can't remember where he hit it. But, if we have a lucky break or whatever in the trees or whatever it is. So I hit it on the green. We now, we make a couple pars. He makes a par. I make a par. First playoff hole, we make pars. And now on number 10, I hit a hook, or I pulled it, my tee shot. So I'm in the trees, and then he hits this little flare 3-wood. But walking down there, I'm like, oh my! And if you watch the coverage, you can see my shoulders drop after the tee shot. Now,
yeah.
I'm like, oh, because 2010 I lost to Martin Keimer at Whistling Straits, the PGA Championship. So I was like, oh my gosh, my one chance to win a major, I blow it. Now here's the Masters, I hook it. I'm like, oh my gosh, my second chance in a playoff, I'm blowing it. But then when things happen, right? The wind's blowing the right way. I hit this amazing hook shot, and hit it up there, give or take 15 feet, and 2-putt for the victory. But at that moment, it was like the highest moment. I birdied 4 in a row, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I have a chance to win. So my mind changed, right? My mindset was, instead of focusing on just hitting every shot, I started focusing, I have a chance to win, and then I choked on myself and sliced it. And then I thought I blew it again on number 10. And so, yeah, I mean, you have these, it's kind of like the book, the ups and downs.
Yeah, the swings,
right? It's just, yeah, it's crazy.
Now, in 2014, it's always fascinates me when a golfer gets to the 18th hole and they've got it in the bag, right? Like, they've got it. The only thing
I'm glad you think so.
Well, yeah, the only thing that can happen is catastrophic disaster. We actually, I don't know if you know this, but a lot of times, like, casual golf fans will play the game of, like, how far would we have to be up to not blow this? Like, if we were up 10 strokes on the 18th hole at Augusta, could I find a way to get it in the hole and win the Masters? So do you feel pressure when you're on the 18th and you're up 3 strokes? You're like, okay, I got this. There's pretty much nothing I can do to screw this up. That's a totally different type of pressure, but it's got to feel in a weird way almost just as extreme because the chance of a collapse here is like, that would be all time.
Yeah, so, as a kid, you always dream of making the putt to win the Masters or making the putt or throwing a touchdown pass or whatever that dream is. And I dreamed of one day winning by so much at any tournament, I was just going to high-five everybody down the fairway.
Uh-huh. Yes.
So now I'm winning by 3. I hit this beautiful 3-wood right down the middle, hit this 9-iron to about, a little cut 9-iron to about 12 feet. I'm winning by 3. And I was like, nope. And I kept my head down because
Yes.
I was like, would you rather be the winner or would you rather be that guy they talked about? And so I was like, don't high-five anybody. You keep your head down. And I remember Ted Scott was right next to me and on the green, and I said, hey, I can 4-putt, right? And he goes, yes. I said, are you sure? Like, look at the board. I didn't want to look at the board. So I said, look at the board again. He said, yes, you can 4-putt. I said, are you sure? Like, we're acting like we're looking at the putt. And I'm talking to him, not about which way it breaks. I'm like, I can 4-putt, right? And he said, yes. So I hit it so easy. I mean, it stopped a couple inches short. And I tapped it in.
You didn't ask him, like, hey, I can 3-putt.
I can 3-putt. Right? Well, I went that one real fast, so I'd make sure I hit it good. But so I tapped it in. And then my son walks out. And I remember picking my son up. He wasn't there the first Masters, and now he's there. And so he walks out on the green. I pick him up, and then I went down to the front of the green. And because he was in my right hand, I high-fived all the way down my left. I went all the way down to the front of the green, high-fived, went down the crowd to the scoring area, and high-fived all the way. And because I remember that moment as a kid, and so I wanted to do it. Now that my son was in my arms and I've already won, I could go ahead and. So I tried. I did partly, but yeah, for the first part, I was scared to death.
I appreciate that though, because I think that it's when we're watching a tournament, a major tournament, and you have a guy who's up a lot, I expect him to have that type of like feeling, like, oh man, like even though I have it, can I 4-putt this?
So if going back, I know that's what y'all want to do. So going back in 12. I putted it to 8 inches past the hole. And so if you remember the footage or seen the footage, I told everybody to quiet down, because the week before that, there was a girl on the LPGA tour that had a 1.5 foot putt to win her first major. She missed it. And then she lost in a playoff. So in my head, in this playoff now on 12, I was like, don't be the guy that misses this. You tap it, take your time, tap it in. So I did that. And then when I was now flashback to 14, I was like, okay, you're winning by 3. Keep your head down. Finish the tournament. Because I didn't want to be talked. I'd rather be talked about slow play than I would lose in the golf tournament.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Speaking of the crowds, if you hit a shot like you said, the slice that you hit, I think you hit it off left on that hole after. Were you tied at the time?
I was tied going into 17.
Tied
yes.
going into 17. You hit a shot like that, and then the gallery crowds around your shot, right? Every time I see that on TV, I'm always nervous for the golfer that, like, hey, these guys are too close to where the ball is going to be flying. Does the thought even, like, creep into your brain? Like, this person is – the angle that they gave me is way too narrow. I'm afraid I'm just going to dome somebody with my next shot.
Yes, for sure. It goes back to the playoff in 2010. Dustin Johnson, he grounded his club in a bunker in a waste area, sand, whatever it was. And so he didn't make the playoff because of that penalty. So now going forward, Teddy, I make him go. I don't make him, but he goes up there and starts backing everybody up so I can see the shot, get everybody away, because I don't want to feel too tight when I'm swinging my club when they're a little close to me. Now, the Masters is a different ball game. They have people that dictate where fans can go and patrons can go. So that's different. Now, in a regular tournament, the crowds are tighter and all these things. But yeah, so Teddy would go up and he would make sure the crowd's backed up, because I want to be able to see the shot.
I like how you corrected yourself there, the patrons. It's very, very important.